Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. I want to talk to you about the basics here. What is an association, and why does the Utah Central Association of Realtors exist? Well, if you think about just the word association, I mean, that's a big clue, because basically that's what it is. It's an association of brokerages. So you have different brokerages, different parent companies own them. Some are mom and pop shops, some are big conglomerates, but they're all slightly different, right? Run by different people, have different styles, but have a big thing in common. They're all trying to help people buy and sell real estate. And so 100 plus years ago, a bunch of brokers got together and said, boy, there are some things we can do better together rather than trying to do them individually. We're not really in competition for these things. We're actually just replicating the work and maybe not doing it very efficiently. So that's what an association is. That's when a group of different companies comes together for a common good. They're associating together. And eventually they decided we need a neutral party to run this, to run these efforts. And that's where the Realtor Associations were born. And so what are some of the things? Well, I think the big one that's probably overlooked by a lot of realtors, but is the big one in importance is government affairs, lobbying, how you interact with the policymakers, the lawmakers. So you have it at a federal level, a state level, and a local level. Well, guess what? You have a nationwide association of realtors, you have a state association of realtors, and you have a local association of realtors. It's not by accident. Each of us plays our role in that big picture of government affairs. So think about it. When you let's take the state level. The legislative session just ended, and you have a bunch of different laws being passed, right? I did a specific video just on how our process works, the legal process works, or legislative process. But let's talk about how from the realtor perspective. Well, there are a lot of crazy bills that went on. So, someone says, a legislator says, we're going to run a bill saying no business entities can purchase properties or can own properties. Well, that's going to be a really significant change, have a big impact, probably more negative than positive on the real estate market. But that legislator has heard about institutional buyers, is worried about this being a problem. There's a lot of that worry going around. So they introduce this bill. Well, if you and I in our brokerages aren't paying attention, that potentially gets passed. But we have a couple choices. Either we individually, for each brokerage, start paying attention to everything going on at the national, the state, and the local level, or we have an association that does that for us. And we have it staffed with people that they specialize in that. And so that's what we have. And it also makes more sense when a lobbyist comes with one voice saying, I represent 20,000 realtors in the state of Utah, and here is how we feel about this bill. Here is what we propose to change this. Here's a fix we'd love to see you do, because it's not, the current system's not working in some way. Well, having a unified voice is a lot more impactful than having 25 different brokerages that represent 100 each showing up and having a slightly different version. And ultimately, maybe fighting against each other, maybe distracting the legislator from the other person's ideas, the other brokerage's ideas, versus coming together with a unified voice saying, here is what we'd love to see you do. And we've seen the effects in Utah. Our lobbying group are amazing. They're amazing. And they are very effective. And again, well, okay, but look, we have differing voices in there. Well, how we deal with that is we bring them together as part of the association, right? We have differing voices on that committee that get to guide the lobbyists' efforts. And the lobbyist gets to chime in and say, here's my opinion, but I want feedback from all of you different brokerages. And that way we get different input. And so it's not just one brokerage driving the show. It's a really a cooperation, an association of brokerages that get together to help form the policy. So pretty amazing, the efforts there, the fruits of that effort, I should say. So that's one big thing that the associations do. And they do it at a local. We do it at a local level too, right? We monitor all the city council agendas. We already have a relationship with mayors and city council members and staff members at cities, so we can tap into that when there's an issue. We're proactive about seeing issues. We build those relationships proactively. Again, is that an effort that individual brokerages want to do on their own to try to monitor all those policies? You know, I live in a city, and I don't want to pay attention just for my own personal needs to everything going on in the city council in their meetings. Now, I do as part of my job, and I have a team that helps with that, but it's a lot to take on for individuals versus a group that can just trust it's getting done. Okay, another one, forms. So can you imagine having to interpret forms for your clients from 25 different brokerages, that they each have their own version, and they're all different, and they're all changing them. They don't announce to you when they change them. So even when you saw one from XYZ Realty, the next time it's different. They've changed 3 paragraphs, but they don't tell you they've changed 3 paragraphs. Now, they knew it because they talked about it in their own sales meetings, but they don't tell you, and so you get it. Oh, I know. I've done a transaction with these folks before. I think I understand. And then, surprise, you find out they've changed some things. And that would be a lot of time and energy that would go into figuring out those contracts. Probably would end up with lawyers involved in every transaction. And certainly every brokerage would have lawyers writing their contracts. And then probably you'd be running them by your internal lawyers at your brokerages to say, we got this addendum from this other brokerage. We're not sure. It's slightly different than the other one we got last time or the one from a different brokerage. And so it would really slow things down and create a lot of potential liability because you're going to miss something and there's not uniformity to it. So again, the association of the brokerages coming together to form the association then said, yeah, let's have some uniform forms out there. And that's what we ended up with. And again, how does it work? Well, again, we have agents and brokers on that forms committee that chime in and say, well, this clause, the way you've described it, doesn't work well with the way we put things in practice in our brokerage. And great, that's good. That's helpful to know. Let's see if there's a way we can change this to work better with more models. And we end up with these cooperative forms that then we're able to go as the association and train and teach. So that, and they don't change that often. And when they do, I'm in front of the camera telling you, hey, this form has changed, and here are the changes. Here's what you need to know. And so you have uniformity, you have certainty. You know when you get that form that has the association label on it, you know you've taken 3 classes on that. You've watched 5 videos on that. You understand how that form works. So you limit the liability of there being a misunderstanding, and your clients get uniformity. Everybody knows what they're getting out of that form. So again, a great example of what an association does. Rather than everybody trying to do it individually, and sure, maybe that brokerage's forms are great and that other brokerage's forms are great, but they're different. And you have to then, again, try to interpret those, and it's a lot of work. Okay, another one. Well, the MLS is a product of that cooperation, that group getting together saying we could all individually have our own listings, our own books in our offices, or now virtual books, right? Digital books, but it's a closed system, and I don't know what you have, you don't know what I have, and it's not really serving the clients the best we can. So we create an association, and we put rules that everybody thinks are going to be fair to everyone, and then we put the listings on a common listing so that it facilitates the widest audience possible, the widest opportunity for buyers, opportunity for sellers. Again, that only works if everyone comes together in an association, right? And then we have key access. That's another big one. Back in the day, show up, unlock the property, right? And then maybe individually people could contract, brokerages could contract with differing vendors for keys. But then which brokerage was this listing with? Do I have a key that works with them? Or no, I need to call them. I need to figure this out. So things like that, just for the common good. Let's get on a common key system. Well, who should run that? Well, let's have the association, the neutral party, run that. So fantastic. So that is the very heart of what an association does. The networking, the making friends, the classes, the training, all wonderful things. The luncheons, the bowling event we just did, they're all great. But at its core, the association was formed to provide those common services that work better when we do them as a collective. So government affairs, forms, MLS, key access. You could throw code of ethics in there as well, a common code of conduct. That's a big one. So it's stuff like that. And as the CEO here, it's something I think about, frequently, of what is our core purpose, and are we staying true to that and fulfilling that, and not getting lost in the parties and the events, but making sure we really do those core things well. And that's what we are focused on. So hopefully that's good information for you as you think about your real estate career. What is the role of an association? And that's really it. Thanks for tuning in.